Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the second half. Things are going okay. Would you agree?
I'd say that, well, considering that, things going badly tends to be 3-0 elves and their receiving, which is not actually uncommon, I'd say 1-1 at the half is actually about as good as you can expect against elves, unless you stall.
Now you'll see, again, I'm leaving his portion of the setup here because let's show off that he is going to be setting up very, very hard on one side. So the elf offense in this case is that he wants to blast a hole through my defense as quickly as possible and just fill up the end zone with about 1 billion eligible receivers. Them all being agility 4 makes them all very, very good at catching the ball and just sprinting straight in to score whenever he feels like it.
A fun effect is that it also pisses off anyone with OCD. Why aren't your players symmetrical, you bastard?
Yeah, that's something that will cause a player rage to no end. Is that if you set up your team, meaning to set them up symmetrically, and then you'll also notice that player way in the back.
Oh
There's a
no.
bug in Cyanide where if you click on your player, sometimes if you are looking at your player before you get all set up, they will just disappear, and you can't put them down anywhere. But then once you confirm your placement, they just show up randomly. In this case, he shows up way in the backfield.
I'd also like to note that he got Quick Snap, which is pretty much the best possible thing for this kind of setup because it means that all his players can just run forward and get in position. He can also move his players either in to punch the Flesh Golem or away to not interact with the Flesh Golem. In this case, It looks like he's getting ready to punch it, which is questionable. No, he just wants to let a bunch of people get marked by a bouncy castle.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but So kickoff, the kickoff event was quick snap, and that lets you move one square in any direction. All of your players can move, and you also don't have to worry about doing dodges. So you can just run straight through tackle zones where you normally would have to make dodges, which lets you slide up right, for example, slide up right next to players like Beef Slab.
It also lets you move into the across the line of scrimmage and into the opposing side, which you can't normally set up that way. So it gives you a lot more punch opportunities, like that one right there. Especially considering that it's very rare to just set up a bunch of people on the line of scrimmage, because that's just screaming for perfect defense to annihilate you. So Hairband is kind of in a terrifying position. I usually don't like running my catchers that far deep because it makes the pass harder, but it's hard to argue with the fact that that guy's just going to be a bastard to deal with. We got pretty lucky on the placement of the ball, though. It ended up landing in the place where none of his players were, so that's kind of an upside.
It also landed very, very close, and on the astronomical chance, the 1 in 36 chance that he fails to pick up this ball, it is very, very close to my big, scary, slow, punchy players.
That's not where you want to be as an elf player. You want to be... optimally, you want a lineman wasting as much of their huge dude TV as possible, while your expensive players just run around like assholes, throwing the ball back and forth and cackling.
Another thing I'd like to point out, did we talk about the fact that he only has 2 rerolls in the first half?
That's actually something like elves. You tend to be able to do that because they play a little safer. They don't throw as many punches. They have agility 4, so ball handling is less of an issue. But it does mean that you have less room for error. So if things just all of a sudden go tits up, it's not great.
It also, because he chose to... here we see the first... Forces him to use a reroll, which I'm totally okay with. But there are, however, 2 sons of bitches in my backfield, ready to score at the drop of a hat.
And because this is agility 4, he can actually make the passes required, which is bad with a capital B.
So anyway, the reason he took 2 rerolls is because he chose to get a bunch of positionals, and he also chose to start with an Apothecary. An Apothecary is sort of a special thing. We don't, obviously, if you remember, I've brought it up that we don't start with an Apothecary because we're an undead team and you can't revive the already dead. But an Apothecary lets you, if someone scores a casualty against you, it lets you essentially reroll that casualty. And so if your player dies and you Apothecary him and the Apothecary is able to heal that and turn it only into a badly hurt, you can choose to take the badly hurt and bring your player back from death.
There's also a side effect of this that if your player is badly hurt, you can use your apothecary to return him to the game next drive. It's kind of a gamble because when you burn an apothecary on a player that isn't dead or crippled or injured, then when your player does get dead or crippled or injured, bad things can't be reversed, and that's no good, especially when you're elves. And one thing about elves is that if they lose a positional, especially this early on in a team's life cycle, that team basically gets retired. You lose a positional, just start the team from scratch. It's not even worth it. So the apothecary is a good investment early on.
Things are getting kind of scary. I can't reasonably stop 2 elf blitzers or 2 elf catchers, so I'm going to go straight for the throat. I'm going to burn a reroll because I really want that ball on the ground, and I want to get up in his stuff, but I'm not able to knock him down.
Rerolling safe blocks.
Which I'm going to try to surround him as best I can, but this sort of spells disaster for the team here.
We are in the patented hug them strategy where you just try to grab them and grip them as tight as possible because, I mean, one of the things is that it doesn't matter where your players are positioned right now because as soon as the elf gets free, that's the end. He just passes the ball and it's over, so it doesn't even matter where the players are.
Dr. White trips over his own feet as he was going to stand next to this other elf catcher. I'm not terribly upset by that though, because I mean reasonably, again, Boxwine's sort of a better player, so he could probably see this coming from a mile away. And indeed, he is going to rather than go for the easy score here, where if he went for the easy score here, he would be able to. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, that's bad.
That's a wolf KO.
About as bad as possible.
I would like him so that he can try to level up in this match by killing elves, but. Like I was saying, Boxwine's not going to fall for this because he's smarter than that. I sort of that catcher could easily score right here, but then that would just give me the ball for the whole second half, and that's not going to make things easy for the elves to draw to tie.
The other thing is that it doesn't really matter that the white was there because it's basically useless to single mark a pro elf catcher because they have a skill called Nerves of Steel. Nerves of Steel makes it so that you don't actually care if you're standing next to anyone while you catch the ball. So if the thrower gets out there and throws to him, it's as simple as a 4+ to catch the ball, because the white doesn't matter, and a 4+ to dodge out, so that's a
2+.
2+, my bad. 4 agility, 2+.
Yeah, yep.
So it's just a 2+ to dodge and a 2+ to catch the ball, and then it's free. So all the white does is force one more dice roll, so it doesn't matter in the long run.
Yeah, and it's basically just the strategy of trying to stand as many of my players next to as many of his players. But things are going tits up in the worst way here.
Not good.
I'm getting out-elfed. I'm getting out-bashed. I'm getting spread out again. Luckily, he's now out of rerolls.
He's out of rerolls. It's okay, boys. Comeback time.
But we are 2 KOs in this one turn. And he is spread out all over the place. He is going to have his way with me, presumably for the rest of this half, because it's going to be a nightmare losing that super high mobility player in my werewolf to be able to keep up with his players and run him down.
Especially when the majority of the team is movement 4, which means that they have to GFI twice just to keep up with his linemen. It's not good.
And this is part of the draw, I guess, of playing a specialized team like Necromantic, is that if you don't have your players in the right position at all times, you turn into this, where I'm looking at the Flesh Prince and Beef Slab being the first line of defense, and the guys who are going to have to go after the ball being giant, slow, rambling monstrosities.
This is another thing about why some Necromantic players tend to ditch the Flesh Golems, at least when you start. Flesh Golems level extremely slowly, but they're basically Strength 4 zombies, and that's bad. And not starting with the Flesh Golems means you start with both wolves and 2 ghouls, which gives you a huge movement advantage. So it depends on really how you want to play the Necromantic. If you want to play punchy, you pick up Flesh Golems and you have these huge, sturdy Strength 4 players. If you want to play more elfy, you ditch the Flesh Golems, pick up the wolf, pick up the ghoul, and just kind of play as undead elves.
That is all extremely valid strategy, to which I say, fuck it, I like Flesh Golems. Flesh Golems are the best.
I would like to note that I run Flesh Golems, though I tend to run 1 Flesh Golem and 2 wolves, but I also run 2 rerolls because I hate myself.
The name of the game here isn't winning. The name of the game here is to have fun, and I have fun with flesh golems.
It's true. Every time that boing sound plays, you just feel happy, regardless of the position you're in.
Every time,
it's just a big old fuck you.
Boings, an angel gets its wings.
Oh no. Oh, okay, we're good.
That's fine.
Okay, well.
So again, Boxwine can pretty much at any point score a touchdown if he feels like it.
Especially from here, though he did run his thrower back a bit more than I probably would have, but
yeah, that's pretty far back.
He's really under no pressure, especially now that the werewolf is down, because it means that it's really hard for even if he doesn't have the ball, even if he loses the ball, he makes a bad throw, he makes a bad catch, he trips on it going for it or something. It's really, really unlikely that bad things are going to happen for the elves here, and it's really unlikely that good things are going to happen for the necromantic in that they're actually going to present a credible scoring threat.
You might notice for a second, if you were paying attention to the dice log, Boxwine says really quick that he says you really want me to score, don't you? And to that I say, yeah, go ahead and score. I've given up on the fact that I can't stop you from scoring, especially without that werewolf. That's a big part of me being able to stop him. Instead, I'm saying I'm gonna punch all your players as hard as I can and make you so you better go score.
Oh, that's possibly the worst place he could have done that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh my
that's really
God.
good that dice fail.
Oh, it's right next to the flesh prince too, which means that the ball is right in the middle of a whole bunch of dudes that are jerks. Mm-hmm. And now we punch over a blitzer. He's using sidestep. Everyone hates the sidestep.
I cracked him.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna start bumbling zombies and flesh columns all over this ball. Not with the intent to pick it up necessarily.
Just to make it a pain in the ass for him to pick it up.
But just to get all up on his shit and open up even better opportunities to punch some elves.
Yeah. And then now it's our turn to break some armor. We KO Hairspray?
Hairspray, a lineman.
That's good enough. Linemen are agility 4. They're assholes.
Yep. Linemen are better scorers than almost anyone that we have on our team.
It's true.
And
they are better scorers than any... Oh, and another KO.
Yes!
We're back in this, boys.
Goodbye, Air Dry. That's another lineman out of the picture.
And now it's time to punch another lineman. And he's stunned. Jesus Christ,
now look
man.
at this.
All things are possible through Nuffle.
Beef Slab is protecting the ball with his body. Again, you'll remember he cannot be pushed out of the way because he can stand firm.
So we have 2 stand firm players that are strength 4 on top of the ball, in addition to the zombie. Oh, and our ghoul will just pick it up because
they are standing next to the ball, but they are also standing next to the player who has the ball in his hand. And I have now prepared all the necessary steps for the hyper bunker.
And now we're just gonna dodge So, I'd like to note that while scoring is really cool, just tying is good enough that we're okay with the hyper bunker here. And the position of the players, the position of the Pro Elf players makes it really, really hard for him to do anything about this. Combine it with the fact that we now have 2 players that are off the pitch and 1 that is stunned, and this is not great for Boxwine.
Yeah, but keep in mind that elves are bullshit.
It's true.
Elves will find a way.
It's the well-known adage that if there are 2 elves on the pitch, 1 elf will pick up the ball and throw it to the other elf, and they'll score.
Yeah, exactly.
Elves are the only team where if there's 2 elves left and you can't field an entire line of scrimmage, you still might not take the
fucking blitzers.
Boy.
So that's fine.
It's not great.
We are now looking at Chemriods for him to pick up that ball in 2 tackle zones. And if you'll remember, Chemriods aren't that bad. For
2 Guardian odds aren't that bad, apparently.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But it might have seemed like that was sort of some cheap talk that we were saying, oh, elves can score whenever they want. But that was him getting really unlucky with those dice. But here he's going to go ahead and get a little bit luckier with the dice and pick it up.
We noticed
no big
that
deal.
you point out the 6. You're like, fuck this.
Oh yeah.
Fuck this directly.
I point out 6s and 1s any chance I'm given.
So yeah, elves just elfed. Despite our mega bunker, despite the fact that was a 1 DP at best, despite the fact that we had the ball, all is gone in face of the... Oh, was that that was a KO on your ghoul. Oh my god. We just glossed over that. The ghoul's out too.
Oh yeah, no, that's
These
fine.
these
Whatever.
are the sleepiest.
Ho hum.
Your entire team just gets sleepy. That's the
Yep.
entirety of your team. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And I feel this necessary to point out that I am mostly armor value 8. He's mostly armor value 7. I have been throwing a lot of punches. He's been keeping up with me relatively well for elves, but still not keeping pace necessarily. I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to that one reroll
I'd have been
just
real
in case.
tempted to reroll that, but it's turn 12, and something tells me the reroll wasn't going to be a great.
I am also
deal.
down. I am also down my.
Oh
Yes!
baby!
First
Oh,
blood,
baby!
death.
Oh,
Now you remember the apothecary lets him reroll that,
yes!
but he rerolls it to dead again. That's dead reroll to dead.
And I'd like
He's
to
dead.
note-
He's gone.
So welcome to the 12th member of the fairly elected Hairband.
Yep.
So Hairband is now a member of our fair team.
One of the fun parts of playing Necromantic or any undead team is that if you kill a normal player, meaning a player who's not super huge like an ogre or super tiny like a little halfling, they will rise from their grave and join your team as a zombie. And we'll be pointing him out plenty as this match continues.
This is kind of awesome because now we have a spare dude,
do you
which
see him?
means that when we have a player KO'd, we are A-OK.
There he is. There he is.
Yes!
Hairband.
Yes!
He's on the sideline.
Unfortunately, he will not start with the 5 SPP, but
No.
otherwise. We'd also like to note that that was a Flesh Golem. And since Flesh Golems basically never get SPP because they don't make passes and they don't score touchdowns, casualties are the main way that Flesh Golems get casualties, and MVPs are the main way that Flesh Golems get levels, and getting a Flesh Golem cast is awesome.
Yep. You can also notice the paradox. I think I go over it too later, but his player is not only on my sideline as a zombie, but he's also sitting dead in the casualty box. That's just the cyanide thing, but I like pointing that out because it just feels weird that there's two of them. So here, whatever, just passing the ball, just being elves. A passer is passing to a catcher. I would like to note that Hairband was a catcher.
Oh, that's awful.
That's pretty brutal for this elf team.
Honestly, that's probably, like, you spend 50k team value on an apothecary, you spend some of your starting 50k just so this shit doesn't happen, and then it happens. This is the point at which you probably remake the team, because it's not worth.
Alright, kids. Everything up to here was just messing around. Today I'm going to show you what the Cholo Lean is.
Oh, yeah! Oh, man.
SDS, you know the Cholo
Lean.
You tell the kids what the Cholo Lean is.
Okay, so the Cholo Lean might be the best animation in Cyanide Blood Bowl. So, I know you've noticed that characters, when they dodge,
Here we
they
go,
do
here we go, here we
awesome
go.
stuff.
Oh! Anyway, the Cholo Lean is the Flesh Golem dodging away. His dodging animation is not him trying to jump away from its player. He just dips the shoulder and shrugs right through it. And that, folks, is the Cholo Lean. We're going to get to one of these videos. It was not destined to happen today. He's only agility 2, which means it is a 4+, so it's essentially a coin flip. That was a 25% chance of me failing that. And unfortunately, the odds were not in the favor of the Cholo Lean, and he's going to go ahead and score, making it 2-1.
He also does the patented, I'm going to run two squares in the end zone just to be a douche.
He's going to use his full movement and just run around in the end zone.
Look at the sleepiest player over on the left.
And unfortunately, neither of my important players, my ball carriers, get to come back in. And it is also turn 14.
That's actually a problem. So, I hate to call it, but
the tie is still real.
the tie's real, but the win is impossible now. It's like it would take some astronomical bullshit for us to win this game. But we have won the moral victory with the recruitment.
Yep, there he is.
With the election of our 12th player.
Hairband, and Hairband is also on the
now
pitch.
on the pitch.
Well, not yet.
Well,
He
you
will
did
be.
kill him, so my guess is that there's still like chunks of him on the pitch from before.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of blood splatter still there.
Yeah.
He'll scoop it up as he goes by.
So that's another one of the things that's really nice about Blood Bowl. It does this on Fumble too, but when players get injured, KO'd, or casualtied, it will leave a nice blood splatter on the field. Ooh, that's not awful. That's
So
not
he
great.
this kickoff event is called Blitz. The kicking team gets a free turn, so they can use their actual blitz, their move, and they can also run straight into my stuff. Now the play here, and in fact the only play possible, is that I only have 2 relatively normal speed, average agility, not terrible players, and that is my 2 whites. So the plan here is to get the ball with the 1 white, hurl it down the field, halfway down the field, to the other white. I'm out of rerolls. I don't remember how even that happened.
It happened because you rerolled the Cholo lane.
Oh, the Cholo lean, of course.
It didn't
How could you
happen.
betray me now? But
I'm really disappointed.
so anyway,
You built that shit up so much.
rerolls are for pussies. I'm gonna hurl the ball down to my white, and he's going to take off for the end zone and try to preserve the tie. Boxwine, of course, being competent, recognizes that that is the play, and he is going to he's not going to stand next to me, but he's going to stand in my way, meaning I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a real pain in the ass to get up there. And I'm also out of rerolls, which makes every single move I do. Oh, so is he though, and there
That's
it is.
glorious.
Dove Skull.
That's it doesn't really help because that player was damn near irrelevant. Bullshit.
Yep. The ball scatters
Shit
as far away
from
as
a
possible.
bull.
But this is my favorite Blood Bowl. This is no rerolls Blood Bowl. So this
no
is
rerolls
whatever
Blood
happens,
Bowl where
happens.
You have to pass the ball fucking like 12 squares from.
I mean,
an
sometimes
adjective
you
player
throw
to an
blocks and
adjective
it just makes your turn end, and you can't do anything about that. I had to throw that block. There's no getting around it.
The
I had
real
to throw
Blood
that block
Bowl
before I do
starts
anything.
Here.
Now I'm pretty
this is
sure.
It, boyos.
I'm pretty sure if you want to count squares, I'm pretty sure Baseball Cap can score here.
That's
Which is scary, so I'm trying to mark him as best I can, but yeah,
also,
so look
the
at that.
ball's in the end zone, so all he has to do is pick up the ball and he scores.
If he can get over there and he can stand on that ball,
Elves
he
are
can-
bullshit.
he can
Blitzes
score.
are bullshit. Everything hurts.
And it's also turn 15, so I'm pretty much going to have to pull one out of my ass here if I want to have a chance to even try to tie it up, to even get that opportunity to try to tie it up.
His white, because he's on the line of scrimmage, will have to move his full movement plus a going for it just to get into the opposing end zone, and that's not taking into consideration all the dice that have to be rolled in order for Dr. White to just get out of that tackle zone, pick up the ball. This is weird. I'm not sure I would have gone with that. I probably would have done the thing where I like dodge 11 billion times and double going for it and score this turn.
So at this point, I don't give 2 shits about whether or not he can very easily score. I could play protective and preserve my integrity and take the graceful 2-1 loss.
Look, this is it. We either tie or we lose. Go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. If you lose, if I lose 3-1 or if I lose 2-1, it doesn't matter. I still lost. I'm gonna throw a block and I'm going to get.
So we
get
lost,
another
boys.
I'm gonna turn off Stanford. He doesn't deserve Stanford, but I kill him.
Yes! Unfortunately, we can only elect one player from the opposing team to our team per game, so we don't get a second zombie, but we absolutely get the moral victory. He wins 3-1,
Who cares?
and he
Whatever,
will have
whatever.
to live with that for the rest of this team's existence.
Yep. And losing 2 players on a starting team probably means that you might want to consider just deleting them and trying again. We do, however, get the werewolf back, and if you'll remember, things are looking good in the casualty category, but I need 2 more SPP on McGruff to level him up.
Is Hairband going to sit it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Hairband sit it out. He did his job of.
He's had
actually,
long
he didn't do
games.
anything. Yeah, this has been a long day. He died, changed teams, and he essentially got the win taken away from him. So I'm feeling lucky. So I'm gonna move McGruff down, and I'm going to try to score another casualty to go for that level, because that's more than anything. That's what I want. I want wolf levels.
Yeah, wolf levels are delicious.
And maybe if I can, maybe I'll Santos Van Hammerstein. Is he 5S? No, he's only 3. That's right.
I was hoping you would attempt to vanity pass with a flesh golem.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You're setting up for the 1 turn.
Am I? No. Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
you
I
are.
do. You're right.
Because you have a werewolf. You have an 8 movement player.
That's right. I'm not going for that. I knew I was like, oh, I
Don't
bet I
have
could
11
score.
players on the field.
That's because I forgot to bring this guy in.
Oh.
But I was like, yeah, I can probably level up this wolf. And I was like, well, of course, I'll just 1 turn it, because I remembered from him doing it. I'm a little better with figuring it out. I'm still not great at it, but we'll see what happens.
Oh.
again, the odds are even less in my favor because I'm that much worse at ball handling
Also,
than he
no
is.
rerolls.
Yeah.
And the ball lands kind of in the middle. It's not the worst for the one turn.
I could do a lot better than that.
You could also do a lot worse.
So keep in mind at any second this match could end. KO, whatever.
KO is actually not great here because, well, actually doesn't
That
matter.
guy doesn't really. This
Oh,
is what
that-
kills it though.
Who, baby?
Oh.
Okay,
We got more
we
SPP.
have-
The SPP
Okay,
is
we've
flowing.
officially retired this team. There's no
Uh-huh.
way that this team plays a second
Well,
game.
now that's only a miss next game, which just means that he misses
Yeah,
the next game, obviously.
you play
But McGruff,
your
though,
next
you know what?
game?
Hey, guess what? Death!
Okay,
That's
now
3
we
deaths!
retired the team.
And that's the
Holy
game,
shit.
folks. That is a wolf level.
Oh
That
my
is 3
God.
deaths. That is the
Okay.
end of the game.
If you've ever, this is the definition of a moral victory, folks.
And so now
Boxwine
at this
can say
point-
he won this. He did not win this game.
No, we won this game.
We only got 30K. Oh, and
Doesn't
his
matter.
MVPs.
The werewolf gets-
MVP.
Now, this is the point where you could go ahead and just add that player to your team. But you know what? Fuck that guy. I don't want that shitty elf on my team. We're leaving him.
Wow.
I'm not even going to accept him on my team. So let's see what the
Really?
wolf got.
Shameful.
Let's see what
dude.
the wolf got. Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Okay. It's time.
And that's the
boyos.
video. I'll see you guys next time.